Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 11:11. Poker Expert. Upon hearing the Red Angel evil spirit's reply, Demoness of White Katarina's expression instantly froze, unable to contain her anger. Sauron Einhorn Medici laughed and continued, "You must have become a demigod at the end of the fourth epoch. It's been more than 1,000 years, but you haven't become an angel. Don't you feel inferior? As for that fellow just now, he had to rely on Isaac Eggers to face you head-on in the beginning. He was as weak as a chick that had just hatched. But now, in less than a year, he has already advanced to Sequence 4 and obtained godhood. He has the ability to match your strength. Don't you have any thoughts about this? Didn't you think that the past 1,000 years were a waste? Even a dog might open the gates to angelhood after living for more than 1,000 years. I know what you're thinking. You're very jealous, and on the other hand, you also have a twisted desire. You want to prove yourself by sleeping with him. You demonesses are really laughable. On the one hand, you insist that you were originally men so as to prevent yourself from losing yourself, thus resulting in you losing control. On the other hand, you have to showcase the charm of a woman and try your hand at extreme pleasure and intense love. But we hunters have no such problem. Regardless of what gender we were in the beginning, all we need to do in the future is war, war, war. Primordial really is a twisted fellow. Letting a pure woman take the path of a demoness would be so much better. However, generation after generation, you pass the damage down. And for what? Isn't the main goal merely to seek revenge on fate? Every word of the Red Angel evil spirit was like an arrow that stabbed into the heart of the Demoness of White. It made her beautiful and exquisite face twitch, and her smooth, raven-black, long hair seemed to grow thicker. Sauron Einhorn Medici glanced at Katarina and immediately chortled. Don't tell me that you're losing control because of my provocation? What a nostalgic feeling. The Red Angel evil spirit paused for a moment before saying, "You can leave now. If there's anything, then remember to recite my honorific name. Of course, I will come to you directly if I have to." Demoness of White Katarina's expression returned to normal. She frowned slightly and asked in disbelief, "You're letting me leave, just like that?" The Red Angel evil spirit chuckled. "Why? Do you want to sleep with me? It's not impossible if the timing is right, but there's something very important that needs to be done right now. Don't worry. Since you've already recited my honorific name and given me a drop of your blood, you'll be under my watch, and you can be affected by me at any moment. Have you already forgotten the differences between an angel and a saint? Don't you know how powerful a real high-level figure is? Unless you directly pray to Primordial and receive a response. Otherwise, you'll never be able to free yourself from my gaze. Well, in normal circumstances, an angel can do such a thing, but that's only limited to the situation of you only chanting my honorific name. If you don't believe me, I'll let you seek the help of an angel." Demoness of White Katarina listened with a gloomy expression before finally smiling. "I'll keep your teachings in mind, Lord Medici." Sauron Einhorn Medici's eyebrows twitched. "You don't seem so compliant. I can even imagine how you were when you faced Gehrman Sparrow, but I don't care. I forgot to tell you. It's best if you immediately confirm the condition of your bloodline descendants. Don't you find it suspicious that Gehrman Sparrow managed to find you so easily?" Katarina's face turned slightly pale, but then it grew serious. She slowly nodded and said, "I understand." With that said, she immediately retreated and entered the glass window again. It was unknown where she was headed for in the illusory, stacked mirror world. With the Demoness of White disappearing, a bloody gash suddenly appeared on the left side of the Red Angel evil spirit's left cheek and made a sound. What an excellent actress. She made it seem like she wasn't good at controlling her expression, showing her restlessness and lack of intelligence, as though it was easy for her ulterior motives to be discovered. That's right. That way, there's a high chance that we would belittle her and let our guard down against her. The Red Angel evil spirit's right cheek also cracked open in a hideous manner. Tisk, demonesses are indeed very cunning. However, I've never underestimated any prey. The Red Angel evil spirit used his normal mouth to say, "She wants to desensitize me and make me belittle her, but it's impossible." The bloody gash on his left cheek opened and closed and replied, "Then why were you captured by a listed tutor?" "That's because of the two of you." The personality that belonged to Medici pouted and said, "It had nothing to do with belittlement and desensitization." The blood-colored crack on his right snorted and said, "How does it feel like to become someone else's prey? The mighty god of war, the Red Angel beside the Creator? Not bad." Medici's expression darkened a little, but his words seemed to contain some self-complacency. The personality that belonged to Sauron said with the left cheek, "You really like to bluff in order to achieve your goals. Back then, Alista and company managed to see through your lies, which was why they managed to seize the opportunity. And just now, you were bluffing Katerina. You're only capable of releasing your aura, relying on traps and surprise attacks to bring about a certain amount of damage. There was no way you could quickly finish her off, but you pretended that you had returned to your Sequence 1 state, tricking her into reciting your honorific name and handing over her blood." Medici pouted again and said, "A bluff is also a normal playstyle in poker. The effect is pretty good, isn't it?" At this point, the Red Angel chuckled and said, "Furthermore, it's not just a bluff. What I'm most fond of is to mix in a truth or two every few bluffs, allowing me to wait for fellows who think they've seen through my disguise to step into a trap. It's just like the mistakes you two idiots made back then. But you were the first to die." The two sides of the Red Angel evil spirit's face cracked at the same time. Without any hesitation, Medici said, "That means I'm the strongest, worthy of having the most attention." With that said, the three personalities of the Red Angel evil spirit fell silent at the same time. After a few seconds, the blood-colored crack that represented Einhorn opened and closed. "Gehrman Sparrow's connection with Evernight is tighter than I imagined. She should have noticed Katerina's true state just now." Medici chuckled and said, "It's all right. This is something she has tacitly allowed in the first place. Back when the Great Smog of Backlund happened, the ones who participated in the operation are all gone. Only that demoness named Trissy is still alive. Isn't that enough to explain something?" Sauron and Einhorn didn't speak further as they allowed the bloody crack on the cheeks to wriggle and heal. The Red Angel evil spirit then reflected himself on the glass window and disappeared from the area around the Bell of Order. Above the grayish-white fog, inside the ancient palace, looking at the spinning topaz pendant in his hand, Klein nodded indiscernibly. He had already used spirit dowsing to confirm Katerina's answers, and he came up with a concrete conclusion. Right on the heels of that, he began his dream divination based on what he knew of the 8 secret mausoleums. He saw the corresponding areas and their blurry states. This made him understand that entry was impossible via normal methods. Even the process of prying without interference had difficulties in locating the interior of the mausoleums. This is very troublesome. Also, when I was channeling the demoness of White Spirit, it was quite different from the time when I did it for Kona's Kilgar and Vin Rambus. She had too many expressions, and her answer was more proactive. Is this something special about demonesses, or is it due to other factors? With a thought, he beckoned with his hand to draw out a piece of paper that was stained with Vice Admiral Ailment's blood. He wrote down the corresponding sentence, and made a dream divination to search for his target. In the blurry world, Klein saw Tracy, who had escaped from her spider webs, looking out the window. There was a dark and illusory storm around there, making it impossible for him to know where it was. Tracy has escaped. She doesn't look sad. She only feels a certain amount of anger and confusion. Her relationship with the demoness of White is so terrible? Or could it be? Just as he was feeling puzzled, he saw a black flame suddenly ignite and melt his dream away. He opened his eyes and confirmed that he could no longer use the blood in his hand to divine the location of Vice Admiral Ailment Tracy. This meant that a demigod powerhouse had used a mysticism technique to sever the connection between the two. Could it be that the demoness of White Katerina isn't dead yet? This? Right, When the Red Angel evil spirit answered me, he was using rhetorical questions. He didn't admit it at all. I was channeling the spirit of a living person. Klein was instantly enlightened as he hurriedly made another divination. Finally, he confirmed that the Demoness of White really was still alive. Indeed, the Red Angel evil spirit's true target isn't the Demoness of White. Also, combined with the feedback from the progress of my potion's digestion, is it right for me to say that the Red Angel evil spirit is weaker than I imagined? He hasn't even recovered to the level of Sequence 2, and he was unable to quickly finish off the Demoness of White. He could only rely on other means to subdue her? After pondering for a moment, Klein realized he couldn't come to a conclusion. He quickly reined in his thoughts and stopped considering the problem. This was because he had already obtained the information he needed from Demoness of White Katerina. Klein put down the piece of paper that was stained with Vice Admiral Ailment's blood and suddenly chuckled. Severing the connection between the blood and the body, preventing powers of divination and prophecy from using it as a medium? I wonder if it will work when rubbing it on the surface of Grozel's travels? After looking at the piece of paper for a few seconds, Klein temporarily gave up on the idea of testing it, because there was no need for it. His focus quickly shifted to the other 8 mausoleums of George III. Ordinary lines of thought shouldn't work. The things that I can come up with are definitely things that the angels and saints under George III can figure out as well. If it wasn't for the fact that the gods have already tacitly allowed this matter, exposing this matter by printing it on flyers might have been effective. Teleportation Nexus, the Tudor ruins. As he thought about it, a thought suddenly came to his mind. He had an idea.